Welcome to the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. 40Gs, G's que pasa en el terreno. Vienen jugadores y se van, traiga lo nuevo. A huevo. Doesn't matter where you from, Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere. Todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. No empezamos, empurgamos, soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast made with love for all of you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be and however you may be feeling. And then, of course, this one always goes out to you, La Cuna Galaxians. Man, we love the love that you always show us, and thank you so much for coming back and hanging out and joining us in chat. Today, man, I wish we had better news, but today it's going to be another session of group therapy as we'll be reacting to the Los Angeles Galaxy's 3-1 Leagues Cup elimination away loss on Thursday, August 8th, in which they were picked apart by the Seattle Sounders within 7 minutes to fall behind early. And then Alex Roldan put the game to bed before the half. And yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. But before we get into all that, shenanigans and madness and all the things we don't want to talk about, let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts. I am Rob Halon. You can find my work online at Extra Time Talk. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's Extra Time Talk. Yeah, I got that right. And then you can find me online at El Escudero de LA. Sorry, I'm thinking about that loss. I'm getting all bummed out. And I know my co-host didn't enjoy it any more than I did. And bringing it back to you one more time, once again, just like every single time, the ride or die, G and homie, El Yerno Guapo, Ananda Kirana. Papa, yeah, so we got to do this today, but this is like one of those last year shows in which I'm like, I would ask you how you're feeling, but I know how you're feeling. So really, I guess, how you feeling about having to do the show today?
I mean, shout out to GCam who's in the chat. Sad foo sesh, man. Absolutely sad about this, right? Man. That we have to do this. But Robert, I'm gonna try to look at the glass half full today as much as I can. And this is only the 6th time we had to do this, right? All year. So that's right. A positive. That's a start, right? And I think we gotta sometimes in these sort of dark troughs or dark moments, we've got to kind of step back and look at the whole body of work in totality, right? So this is only the 6th time, so that's a positive, but of course, it's not fun to go back and look back and really we just got a slapping. We absolutely got a slapping, right? And to me, in what was, I would say, an inexcusable performance, and I'm just gonna say that's my one-word match reaction. It was inexcusable, right? Just on all fronts, inexcusable performance from top to bottom, inexcusable with the way we came out and came out with absolutely nothing, inexcusable with how we gave up a goal right before the end of the first half. I felt like I was transporting myself back to 2022 there for a second. Just inexcusable on all fronts. And that's really what added to my frustration. So it was a very frustrating performance. But more than anything, man, inexcusable. And this is one of the ones that let's spend the next hour talking about this and let's be done with it. And hopefully we don't have to revisit this moment again.
Yeah. It was a wash. It was, I mean, I feel bad for any Galaxy fans that actually traveled to this one.
Yeah.
Probably not a lot because there wasn't even a lot of Seattle fans in the building. But
right.
if you got yourself to a computer, spent the time to look for flights, paid for said flights, got out to Seattle, showed up to the game, got your hotel, paid for the hotel and everything, and you're super excited, you're eating your chowder, you're like, man, this game's gonna be awesome tomorrow. I'm in Seattle. The Galaxy have been doing their thing this year, and then you went to the game, and man, I mean, you could have left after 7 minutes and went and had some more chowder, and you would, I mean, that probably would have been better than the rest of that game. But in either case, yeah, like you said, we're going to talk about it today, then wash our hands of it. Like I said, it's a wash. Let's just. I've said it all year. When you lose, don't lose the lesson. Hopefully, they take the lessons from this team and Greg, and they go forward. But yeah, anyway, man. Get that housekeeping out of the way. We'll talk about this game, and man, we'll just we'll put it behind us. We'll wash it.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And I mean, Gary brought up a really good point. I'm going to go back to that later, and I'll pull it up, GCam. Don't worry. But of course, guys, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. And of course, you can find us on all of your socials at La Cuna Galaxiana. We just want to thank you, first of all, for all the support, man, for all you guys coming back into the chat, for everyone listening to the first time, for everyone who just subscribe and are enjoying our stuff. Like, we're glad to sort of provide this hour of entertainment for you. And we're going to keep doing it, right? And until we get canceled, we're going to keep doing it for you guys. So if you haven't yet and you want to support...
Word.
What's up?
Have you heard rumors getting canceled? Oh, snaps. Oh, no.
I don't know, man. I got to talk to the networks. But yeah, guys. And of course, if you want to support this channel, the best way to do that is go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also don't forget to hit the likes up, especially if you're listening on playback. Just go ahead and do it now before you forget. And of course, as Robert always says, you can always put someone on if they need a new soccer podcast, a new MLS podcast, a new Galaxy podcast. Go ahead and share the love to them. We are all inviting, and we welcome more people in the chat. It's always, we miss you, chat. It's been a week, or it's been a little bit of a time, and because we didn't have a preview pod last week for this one, so it's been a week, so we missed y'all. And of course, Roberto, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. Man, let's just get Sad Fusesh over and out with, but we got to get through some shout outs, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first and foremost, Anandita Kirana and El Profe, friend of the show, Alex Reus. As you guys know, they dropped the first Gatácticos video on Gabriel Pecky. I mean, obviously that guy's lighting it up. I mean, they were brujos who were working on this video months ago, before he started to actually round into form, and then all of a sudden he started getting going, and they were like, we knew it was going to happen because they were working on the video. So anyway, they dropped the first one, Los Gatácticos, and they were about to drop the second one. There's a German cat, which we'll talk about here pretty soon, who's set to join the Galaxy, and Los Gatácticos are set to break down what he can bring to this Los Angeles side. So watch out for that. Watch out for the next video of Gatácticos. I mean, let's just kick the shout outs and announcements off with some feel good vibes. One of my favorite people in the G community, certainly on my Mount Rushmore non-player, Don Raul 96, y'all. Kitman Raul Vargas received El Premio del Orgullo Mexicano del Mes for the month of July. He was honored by the Mexican consulate in Los Angeles in recognition of his 27 years of dedicated service to the club and city of Los Angeles. Of course, El Brody, Jorge Campos, the Galaxy's first keeper / one of their first strikers, presented Don Raul with his gifts. The Mexican consulate, you had several officials out there honoring Don Raul, and it's great to see him honored, man. I mean, 27 years is nothing to shout out. Like, just like the loyalty. I mean, just like the man. I don't even. I mean, just he's one of the foundations of this club, and I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. Obviously, everyone knows after Don Raul, it's his son. So the legacy is in good hands. So yeah, man, congratulations to Don Raul. Long may he reign. Long live the king. Don Raul 96. Le queremos mucho, Don Raul. Happy birthday to Dejan Joveljic, the chess master, man. Galaxy fans were probably missing him tons the other night. But Dejan Joveljic, although he is out injured, he had a birthday the other day. So happy birthday to Dejan. Hopefully he spent it with friends and family, and he had a great one. Congratulations to the U.S. women's national team for winning the gold in the Paris Olympics. They claimed their record 5th Olympic gold medal with a 1-0 win over Brazil. Mallory Swanson scored the gold medal winning goal, which was really fun and really cute too, because she apparently, as a little girl, put like in her yearbook that she wanted to go to the Olympics and win a gold medal, and she did. Goalkeeper Alyssa Nair recorded a historic shutout. She had 0 goals against in 330 minutes. This team became the first team to ever run through the knockout rounds of the women's Olympic tournament without conceding a single goal. So that's the kind of elite defense that you want, Ananda, in a knockout tournament. Why did I just get so angry? But congratulations to the U.S. women's national team for taking care of business on both sides of the pitch and winning their 5th Olympic gold medal. I mean, this is unprecedented, groundbreaking. I mean, Brazil has the 5 World Cups. Now the USA women have the 5 gold medals. Congratulations to them. Guys, we have let you know about Luca Knows Heart, the 10th birthday celebration blood drive. 3-time MLS Cup champion with the Galaxy, Adrian de la Garza, and his wife will return to Los Angeles to partner with Children's Hospital Los Angeles in benefit of Luca Knows Heart. Of course, for those of you guys who that don't know, that was a foundation and benefit that the de la Garza started after their son was diagnosed with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. Unfortunately, Luca did pass away of complications of the illness, and after that, they set up this foundation to help others that have children or have loved ones with this illness. This one's going down on Sunday, August 25th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Hudson House in Redondo Beach. Guys, if you can, go ahead and help out. Animo AJ, you guys are going to have a great day, and, let's go Luca Knows Heart. Julian Araujo, passing on to other former Gs, will now be in the Premier League. So if you have a favorite Premier League team, you'll start seeing Julian quite frequently. The right back will now apply his trade for Bournemouth. The new Cherries defender joins on a $10 million fixed fee deal. That's a permanent deal, no loan or anything like that. Incredibly, Barcelona asked for no buyback and no sell-on clause. So I don't know what Deco's really doing over there, but the Galaxy did have a sell-on percentage, so they'll be getting some money from this deal. So, one of the things that I was asking myself the other day, Reus is already kind of sewn up, but do they have the paper to play with other things? I'm not sure how soon they get some of this paper, but of course, with the league changing transfer rules and stuff like that, they can convert, I'm pretty sure, some of this money into GAM and then spend that to reinforce the team. So this is only a good thing for the Galaxy. Obviously, they get some money from the sell-on percentage. It's I'm not sure if it's a step back or good for Julian. I don't know his heart. I don't know what he wanted to do. But he did look pretty good in preseason for Barcelona. I'm surprised that they did not at least do a buyback clause there. But as it stands, he's now in the Premier League, and congratulations to him and good luck to him. Man, the Lord of Lompoc in the Premiership. Let's go, Julian. And you know what? I now have a second favorite Premier League team. Let's go Cherries. And you know what? They're red too, so it kind of counts, Ananda.
Red and black. Yeah, red and black. There you go. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So, all right, go ahead, Julian. Go on with yourself. You got that move to the Premiership. Good luck. The Galaxy are throwing their first ever Fiesta Galáctica. This is really awesome, Ananda, because these are the kind of things, like the innovative things that you want to see the team try. And I say innovative not because it'll turn out to be innovative, but like at least the idea is innovative, and at least that they're trying to do stuff like that. And for those of you guys that don't know, the Fiesta Galáctica is put on by Dignity Health Sports Park and the Galaxy, and it's a family-friendly event with cultural festivities like Lucha Libre Wrestling, Lowrider Car Show, Galaxy activities. First team players will be out there, and a photo opportunity with MLS Cup. You'll also have a live performance by Grammy-nominated band La Adictiva. I'd be lying if I said I've ever heard of La Adictiva, but a bunch of people apparently have because they're Grammy nominated. This is going down on October 12th at 5 p.m. I believe at Galaxy Park. GA is 37.21 and VIP is 80.86 for this event. But again, Ananda, this is cool, man, because they're trying stuff. Like we've spoken about it on this show a couple times. How marketing had suffered and events had suffered, and now they're trying stuff like this, or at least trying to engage the community. Trying to do stuff for the community. That's like now at least people can't be like, well, they're not doing anything. Sure, I mean, this may not be a hit. It may miss the mark. Who knows? But we were at the CVI, and it was a pretty fun event. We've been we've seen everything that the marketing video department has put out this year, and it's been pretty fun. Even like the launching the kit into space thing was like innovative. Like I to this day I'm not sure, like, do I like that, do I not like that, but either way it happened, and it was at least talked about. So these are the things that I want to see, man. Ananda, are we hitting this Fiesta Galactica, man? We doing this?
Let's try. We try to hit everything if we can. We got to talk to VPs of finance and all that stuff. So,
shout out to the VPs of finance. Shout out to my VP of finance who approved the expenditure of the new LA Galaxy shoes. Tarjetazo y Dios proveerá. God bless. So anyway, your boy just came up on those green gazelles, Ananda. Unfortunately, don't have the retrograde kit to match that up with, but one day, Dios proveerá, just like I said. Moving right along, we have as well the Galactic Carnival. That's the exclusive celebration for season ticket members. This is the second annual Galactic Carnival. Last year's was basically that, a carnival-like game atmosphere. They were first team players around. There was indoor soccer, pickleball, paddle courts. Man. So this one's going down on August 25th from 2 to 6 at the Digs. You have to RSVP by this Friday, though, August 16th, to secure your spot if you are a season ticket member. Keeping it moving here, the Galaxy are back at home on the 24th against Atlanta, and the Pups at the Pitch is back on that same day. So if you have a pup that you want to go celebrate this game with, you have your chance on the 24th. Tickets start under $41, and you get a berm seat, and a dog pass for that. In additions pass, they've given like bandanas or like doggy merch and stuff like that. So I expect that to happen again. So guys, if you got a pup, take them to Pups at the Pitch. And then you know what? Go ahead and drop those dog pics. Tag us up in them. Not only am I a lover of Raquinho, but I love the pups as well. So send them those dog pics as well, guys. Guys, VCFC took place in the latest El Traficito. Unfortunately, just like their older brothers who took the 3-1 loss against Seattle, this one was a 2-1 loss to LAFC 2 in El Traficito on Sunday, August 12th. They went down 2-0 before Axel Nsenge got VCFC's goal in the 63rd to give them a lifeline, but they could not find the tying goal, and they went down to defeat. Their last match against LAFC 2 was a win in penalties. They dropped to 4th in the standings with this loss. LAFC 2 just jumped them with the win. They're now both tied on 36 points, but LAFC 2 has a better goal difference by 1 goal. Cruelly, by 1 goal. VCFC has a 7-8-6 record. They are now on 36 points, just like I mentioned. And they have only won once in the last 5 matches. So that's something to watch for. That's something that's a little worrying. Next up, they're on the road against the Tacoma Defiance or Seattle 2 on Sunday, August 18th at 8 p.m. Ananda, dates of note. We have the transfer window closing on August 14th. And, of course, the roster freezes are happening on Friday, September 13th. So with the transfer window closing in 2 days at the time of this recording, I'm going to go ahead and ask the chat. Chat, with everything we've seen so far, 8 games left in the season, League Cup out of the way, transfer window is coming to a close. What is the position of most need at the moment for the LA Galaxy? Chat, let us know what you think. Anandita, what do you think?
Man, based off of that last game, we need some defenders, right, Rob? But no, I'm going to talk about this point maybe a little bit later, but if there is space again, my big thing is I don't even know what we have to play with, right? Like so for example, the sale that you just talked about, are we going to get any benefits from that? Any GAM? Like I thought, and I was under the impression that after we signed Reus, that pretty much was it, right? Whether it's international spots, GAM, salary cap, whatever that is. Of course, I'm not a salary cap expert, so I'm the wrong person to ask. But if I'm just looking straight up like player profile, who we need, I don't know, man. I feel like, especially to get us over the line in some of these games against tougher opponents, I feel like we need battlers. We need like Amito Garces types. We need tacklers. We need guys that'll break up play. We need almost like a destroyer, right? Very simply, guy who breaks up play, put it back in the transition, and we're off to the races. So I feel like we're still missing that, especially in our midfield area. I think Serio, he's a little bit of a combo in that he's good on the ball technically, but he's not like, he is combative, but he doesn't like leap out to you at stats. I mean, we need some athletes in there too, man. Like guys like Mark Delgado that can cover a lot of ground. So yeah, I that would be nice if we can get one of those in our midfield positions, because everywhere else, I mean, look at our defenders. I mean, as much as you want to say about our defense and our center backs, I feel like fullback positions, we have, two really, really serviceable fullbacks in each flank, right? And then we have a 3 to 4 center back rotation that I think is pretty good. So yeah, that would be like the one thing I think, if you ask me, man, just like a destroyer type, a guy that gets stuck in, a guy that wins a lot of tackles, so that he can help build our offensive transitions.
Well, as luck would have it, some transfer news started trickling out, because everyone's been solely focused on Marco Reus to Los Angeles, and everyone's been like, oh, when is that going to happen? When is it going to get done? Well, we'll give you an update here in a second, but everyone's been so focused on that, like everyone's been kind of forgetful that there are other positions of need. Perhaps the Galaxy need to reinforce that at the striker. Perhaps they needed to reinforce this, like you said, with a battling center back or defensive midfielder. Well, today, or yesterday rather, El Observador, a newspaper out of Uruguay, is reporting that Argentine defender Nicolas Figal will soon be an LA Galaxy player. The 30-year-old is an experienced defender with 273 top flight appearances, 47 in MLS. He is currently with Boca Juniors, as you guys see in this picture. Ananda was talking about that battler that gets down and tackles. Well, you very clearly see him going in for the tackle here in this photo. He has played 5 matches for Boca this year. They've played 10 so far. He's been injured for a couple as well. He had 3 starts, but El Observador claims that he's not really a lock-on starter this year for Boca, and where Don Figal is in his career, he wants to be playing matches, so he could be on his way to Los Angeles. Of course, I did mention he played 47 times in MLS. He is formerly of Inter Miami, but he left before the Messi revolution happened, so he didn't get to take part in any of that. But he's valued at $3 million, and again, I started thinking about all these numbers because this guy's valued at $3 million, and I'm like, well, how can the Galaxy possibly afford him? Well, hopefully Will Kuntz has figured out something with the new rules. Hopefully there's some money coming in from that Julian sale. Hopefully there's they're saving money on some of Johnny's wages. I don't know what they're doing. Hopefully they're using some of the money from Marcus Furcanis. I'm not sure what Will's going to do, but he done miracles on us before, and if anybody could figure out a way to get more assets here, it's going to be Will Kuntz. And so yeah, that's the latest one. I mean, Ananda, I'd be lying if I said I've seen Nicolas Figal play, even when he was with Inter Miami, but he is pretty highly rated. He has played a ton of top flight matches in the Argentinian league with Olimpia, Independiente. So these are all bigger clubs in Argentina. So he's been battle tested. He's gone through the fire. It's a different ballgame in Argentina, man. I mean, playing in a Clásico in Argentina is like a hellfire, man. So, he has the experience and the mentality to come in and contribute on day one. So we'll go ahead and update you on this guy as Nicolas Figal, the latest rumored LA Galaxy player. And you know what? The one we know a little bit more about. You guys know him as the latest Galactico to arrive in the constellation of LA Stars. Here's your Marco Reus update, guys. He is now in LA. He arrived last week on Thursday, August 8th, a couple hours before the Galaxy were dismantled by Seattle. Fans did go to greet him at LAX, but he ducked out through the back. All parties are waiting for league approval for this one to be done. But Manuel Veth of Transmarket is reporting that the deal is wrapped. However, this one has not been officially announced. We're expecting it to happen this week. The contract is until December 2025, plus an option to extend as expected. And again, no word on his official unveiling. So, Ananda, what do you think? Do you think it's going to happen this week?
I think so. I think all signs are pointing to it. I think I think Josh either tweeted about it or he had it on his show today. There was someone drove by Dignity Health Sports Park and they saw Marco Reus's name on the billboard. And so they must be preparing for his presentation very, very soon. So yeah, probably tomorrow or even the next day.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of reports were saying that it was, we were going to have an official announcement today. And obviously that didn't happen. I was waiting for that email all day from Galaxy Comms, and that didn't happen, obviously. And so, if it drops tomorrow, I'm expecting it to go down either, Wednesday or Thursday. And again, the transfer window closes in 2 days. So obviously, if the deal's done, they can present them after or whatever. But I mean, it'd be great for them to present them this week, with the window closing and everything, especially with noisy neighbors across the way presenting their own big player. And so it'd be great if this one got done. Do you see him playing on the 24th?
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how fit he is. I mean, it's his off season, right? The European off season, but I mean, a few training sessions. We don't expect him to play 90, so I'm assuming he's going to get a substitute appearance off the bench. Hopefully as soon as the 24th, if the time. I mean, it's 12 days, right? I think that's enough time.
Yeah, I mean, Greg's talked about integrating players slowly, and you've talked about how risk adverse he's been all year. So if I expect to see him on the 24th. However, I don't expect to see a lot from him on the 24th. But you know what? Hopefully for Galaxy fans everywhere, he gets to play. It's a great day and they get a win. So that's your Marco Reus update, guys. And unfortunately, now we have to get into a match that we don't want to relive, but because there was such a bad time, we're going to give you a palate cleanser. We're going to introduce my son, Cobi Cosmo, for the first time on this podcast. And
speaking of special guest, oi, mira, papa.
Here's my boy.
Oh my God.
So he says, don't be sad. He says, don't be sad, Galaxy fans.
He says, don't be sad,
everything is going to be all right.
Don't be sad, G-Cam.
Everything is going to be all right. So, guys, this is my son, Cobi Cosmo. He was, I believe, asleep, and so he's not as lively as he normally is. But this is your palate cleanser. I know that this is sad full hours. Oh, gracias por los besos. Yes, gracias.
Yeah, he is very happy right now. It's not sad foods for him. He's very happy. He's with his papa. But yeah, yay! Cobi Cosmo, named after two great legends, of course. And yeah, welcome, Cobi. Special guest appearance. There you go. Off you go, papa. And of course, Rob G-Cam says, dude, Raquinho is jealous.
Oh, Raquinho's jealous, son. Well, Cobi says that he was here first. So, but guys, again, it was a tough game. So we wanted to bring you a little bit of joy. I know that's my joy right there. So I'm not sure how happy you guys were, but or if it did anything for you, but definitely did something for me. Because we're about to get into this, unfortunately. Ananda, do we have to?
Yeah, let's just get it over with. Okay. Let's like you said, the lesson. What do you normally say? Like the lesson. There's some lesson learned behind this.
When you lose, don't lose the lesson. Yeah, when you lose, don't lose the lesson.
So let's find a lesson here.
The Dalai Lama and Dave Chappelle said that. All right, well let's get into it. Playing in the round of 32 in the Leagues Cup, the Galaxy were eliminated. They were smacked down. They were decimated. They were just beat down in this competition following a 3-1 loss on the road away to Seattle at Lumen Field. They gave up 2 set-piece goals within the opening 7 minutes, and it was pretty much kaput. And then an Alex Roldan golazo sealed it 3-0 for Seattle with virtually the last kick of the first half. Like Ananda said at the top of the show, it was 2022 Galaxy all over again. Gabriel Pecci got the consolation goal late for the Galaxy off a really, really nice Ricky Pooch assist. And that means the Galaxy continues its hot streak of not winning in Seattle since 2018. The loss also snapped LA's 4-game unbeaten run across all competitions dating back to July 17th. Mentioned that Gabriel Pecci got the goal. He also won 5 duels, completed 3 dribbles, and won 6 possessions. The assist maker, Ricky Pooch, he won 6 fouls, completed 12 duels, and 6 dribbles, and as well as having 3 chances. And then John McCarthy made 8 saves. He actually made a lot of really good saves that kept the Galaxy closer in this one than they probably should have been. However, John McCarthy probably got a lot. I mean, not probably, did definitely get a lot of hate in the aftermath of this one. And it's not even really his fault, I don't think. Just circumstances. And so yeah, I mean that's it, man. No more Leagues Cup. Galaxy off for a couple weeks. Yeah, man, I'm just kind of bummed that they went out so meekly. I mean,
and I'm kind of bummed that we had to deal with.
I don't even know what else to say.
I'm kind of bummed that we had to deal with Leagues Cup like BS and have to win our group, but yet play away from home on turf. So that was beautiful as well. So yeah, they need to fix that. It's a complete shambles in my opinion, but that's probably why people like Alex Ruiz are like, Leagues Cup, whatever. Like, I really don't care about this tournament. Let's just get out of here with healthy and move on. I think that's probably why, people are probably still riding the high of Messi and all that Leagues Cup magic last year. But yeah. Did Cobi knock something down in the back, Papa?
Joe just fell.
Joe. We gotta apologize to him now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even the loss was so bad. Even Joe was like, dude,
it's all crumbling down, man. It's getting picked apart, just like the Galaxy defense, right? So there you go.
Man, were they ever picked apart, bro? It was a shambles. This one again, like I've just been at a loss because I just don't know like how or where this performance came from. So I think we're just gonna have to give it to the peoples, man. I mean, I think we're just going to have to be like, hey peoples, what do you think about this? Because this one was just terrible, man. So we're gonna kick it off with the people at LA is our houses. 2 corners, 2 goals. Game over. We'll see you August 24th to face Atlanta. Good night, guys. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Within 7 minutes. Comments. El Primo Matt says, "Ooh, it's gonna be one of those games," and it's just a picture of Baldwin just pouring just fat whiskey, bro. Fat whiskey. So here we have Miggy Gris, aka Mike Gray, at Mike Gray AFC. It says, if your keeper isn't going to collect balls from the 6-yard box, it's open season for opposing attackers. I do disagree. What else we got from the peoples?
I think that's a little harsh, but Mike is from the goalkeepers union, so I will take that at face value.
he is from the goalkeeper union, man. So you have to believe him when he says it. All right. So what else we got? Oh, speaking of Alex, El Profe says LA really missing Micovic's ability to make high claims, and Amiro Gaddis' physicality. Yeah.
Yeah.
LA Galaxy rumors at LA Galaxy _rumor says Gaddis might have won himself the starting position next to Yoshida.
Interesting.
Yes, interesting. La Ñaña Pamela Garcia says at Miss Pamela Garcia says whispers, maybe we do hate defending, specifically set pieces.
Numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. And we'll talk about the numbers later.
No, they do not. All right. Let's see here. H. Dottie Dot says pull all the DPs out, and it's Krusty the Clown, and he's just drinking and crying, and man, I wanted to do that too, but had to watch the rest of the game. Eddie Nag says, me, I don't give an F about the League's Cup, and then also me after the Galaxy crashed the League's Cup, and it's just a little boy, and he's throwing a tantrum, just like I was throwing a tantrum when they lost. The Portuguese Hammer at Hammer EV9 says, welp. And he's subtweeting the tweet. The haters said I couldn't do it, and they were correct. Honestly, great call from the haters. Yeah. Melvin says today the LA Galaxy. Melvin Rocker says today the LA Galaxy played nothing like a number one Western Conference team. They only bothered to show up at the very end. This is the absolute worst way to crash out of the League's Cup. McCarthy did us down big time, and the rest of the squad wasn't any better.
Oh, some strong words there from Mr. Melvin.
Yeah, I know. And then Ananda, you just brought up the fact that this team won first place in their group and yet had to go on the road and play Seattle on turf. Kevin Morris at Soccer 8 says teams that won groups but had to play away are now 0-4 in the knockouts of the League's Cup. I'm not one of those certified geniuses who changed the League's Cup's rules this year, but it sure does seem pretty dumb to make group stage success meaningless. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and well, one thing is that the Galaxy did not get their very, very deserved home game, but the second thing is, they just didn't come out well in this one. And I don't really reference Taylor Twellman often, but I definitely had to reference him here. I asked Ananda to go ahead and pull this video because he has some very, very good comments on the developing Novak Micovic situation, because we always start with the lineup here, and even before this game got underway, we had some news with the lineup that told us that John McCarthy was going to get the start, and that prompted Novak Micovic to request a trade, to request a transfer. And I mean, we did ask Greg about it. He didn't comment on it, and so that one's still developing. But here's Taylor Twellman. But I don't believe we have audio.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, I have it in mine. Let me see. Sorry. You sure?
Well,
I hear it. Maybe you don't.
I do not hear it. Chat, if you hear it, let us know.
Sorry,
but
guys.
No audio on our end. But basically, Twellman was alluding to the fact that Micovic had two very, very good games, and then all of a sudden he was Leo confirms no audio. What up, Matt? What up, Primo?
My bad, guys. Technical difficulties, but
we just showed one of your tweets, Papa, El Primo Matt. So no audio, but basically, like I said, Twellman was alluding to the fact that this is a sticky situation because Novak had gotten a couple good games under his belt, and then found himself on the sidelines, and he's talking about the transfer. This was reported by Tommy Boger at the Stash, and just sidebar on the Stash, Ananda. It has been reported that there's a rumor that the Stash could be dropping in on this humble little pod very, very soon. So watch out for that one.
Ayo.
Watch out for that one. By the way, I told him the other day that for as much love as Stash gets, his hair is Gambit like. And so he's rocking that good hair, man. So Tommy, we can't wait to link up with you.
He must have appreciated that allusion to actually no, I won't say it just in case people have not watched Deadpool yet. I was gonna make a reference, but I'm gonna skip it just in case.
Okay.
It's like, oh,
okay.
no spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers. All right. Well, like I said, Tommy was the first one to report this. Of course, Novak wasn't even in the lineup for this match against Seattle. He's only played 8 games since coming over, and the Galaxy did spend big money on him. We know that Greg rates him very highly. However, he's not his number one. So, here's a chat question for you, Ananda, for you and for the chat. We don't know what actually happened, right? We don't know if it was like sell me now or like a very respectful like, hey, I'm not playing, give me a chance to leave, boss. Like we don't know what the conditions were, but the fact remains is if Tommy says that it happened, it happens. So if in fact he did ask for this transfer and he wants it immediately, if you're Greg Vanney, do you sell him or do you try to talk him down?
You're asking me this?
And chat.
And chat. Me personally, I would. Well, let's see if chat anyone. Okay. So me personally, I would just try to keep him. I mean, honestly, if you try to sell him too, he's played what 8 professional games in MLS for LA Galaxy and all comps. I mean, how much value are you actually going to get from him, right? You've already invested $1 million into this guy. Granted, he might have not. And by the way, I saw a lot of takes too on Twitter saying that, oh, it's Greg's fault and blah, blah, and blaming it on the head coach. I honestly, if I was in Greg's position, I would have probably done the same thing, man. I mean, I wouldn't play a guy too that's whether it was him directly or his agents or his representation, whatever the case may be. I mean, clearly he was throwing some sort of tirade. And I mean, that stuff too, I'm always of the opinion, like you try to keep that stuff in house as much as possible. Like, I don't know I don't know how it got leaked. And I don't know if this had an effect on the team, but looking at it from the outside looking in and looking at what transpired in that game, I mean, people are going to draw conclusions, people are going to make connections, whether it happened or not, right? Perception sometimes isn't reality, or however that saying goes. So
yeah, and sometimes perception's the biggest indicator on and like what everybody believes anyway. It's not even fact.
Exactly.
It's just like the perception of what they believe,
Yep. So that's where I'm at with that, man. I wish we would have kept it in house, but I think we've invested a lot in this guy, and I see a lot of the attributes. And Josh made a great point in that it takes 1 or 2 clunkers from McCarthy to get dropped, and for Micovic to be that next starting keeper. I mean, it literally only takes like 1 own goal or just a complete disaster class of a game for Micovic to get in there. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. And by the way, knock on wood, I don't wish this on anyone, but it also takes 1 little injury from McCarthy to get out of the lineup as well. So I think he's just got to stay patient. He's young. He's only played 8 games. I think his chance will come, but I think he's got to know that, hey, your chance is going to come, and just be patient, man. But like I said, I wish this hadn't gone out into the open air. I wish they would have kept this in house.
Absolutely, and it's the first crack in the veneer of like togetherness that that the Galaxy have cultivated this year. GCam says optics are vehemently important. Absolutely. Last year, in a lot of these matches, towards the end of the wire, the Galaxy didn't have that perception of being together, and that's why they lost. That's why they were losing. This year, there's very much been that perception that this team, their brothers, are fighting for each other. And this is kind of, like I said, like the first kind of like little chink in the armor. Last year, I will tell you this behind the scenes all the time, and I would never report on these things because they were very much unsubstantiated. But last year, I would get snippets and rumors all over the place. This player doesn't like this player. This player has beef with this player. These players always get together and they exclude, these other players from this country. This year, I haven't gotten any of that. But this is like the first worrying thing that we've seen, and hopefully it doesn't take a toll on the locker room. But hopefully it gets handled quickly, decisively. He's shown that he's loved. He's shown that he's in the plans. He's for the future. I mean, again, $1 million for this player is not inconsequential, and I see why Greg likes him, and hopefully Greg's able to convince him, like, hey, I like you. You are going to be the guy for me. Just be patient. Well, all of that to say, John McCarthy took the starting goalkeeping spot in this match. Of course, Yamane, Neo, Yoshida were all brought back after Amito Garces was not available after he, not twisted his ankle, but kind of just like rolled his ankle. The front six was the same one that we have been seeing. Gaston made the bench, but of course he wasn't used. We've talked about the goal scoring plays here for Seattle. Obviously, I mean, these are 2 set piece goals, which has been the Galaxy's Achilles heel all year. 2 within 7 minutes. Ananda, I mean, I don't know if there's anything special you need to call out on any single one, but I mean, the first one is this Jalen Neal and Edwin Cedillo getting beat by Yamar. The second one is Jordan Morris rising up and beating everyone around him to get the header on John McCarthy. He doesn't really know anything about it. He actually gets the initial save, but I mean, it just goes right off his face. And then Jackson Reagan picks up at the back post. I mean, and that one as well as I was looking at this one. I saw this one like a million times in slow-mo, and Maya's super late to react to pick up Jackson Reagan. I mean, he completely loses him. And then if you watch it back, he just kind of like just throws his arms up at the end, like, I lost him. First kind of time I've seen Maya just kind of like give up on a play this year. So that one was interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's how it happened, man. Two in 6 minutes. I mean, what do the stats tell us?
Yeah, well, let me pull that up now. I mean, the stats paint a slightly different picture, Robert, and this is one of the things that I noticed, which is, it was going back to 2023, 2022 Galaxy again, where we had a lot of possession, right? 63% to 37%. But look at the disparity in shots, man, and what we actually did with that possession compared to what Seattle did. Seattle had they only had 37% of the possession, but they outshot us 21-8. They had 12 shots on target. We had 2. They had 5 big chances. We had 3. I mean, they did a lot more with their possession, and they were more calculated, and Schmetzer's game plan worked, right? The Galaxy don't like playing defense. Well, they don't like playing defense. Well, we better get a lot of shots on them, and they sure did, right? As the stats would say. And again, we try to control this game through our passing game, 495 to 260 passes, Robert. Well, we just had no cutting edge, nothing in the final third. Seattle, and it's funny, this is one of the few times that I actually listened to the opposing head coach presser, Robert, after, because I don't know why they didn't post Vanney's, and I didn't see it anywhere on YouTube. So I listened to Schmetzer's. And time
out. Remember how I said I felt real bad for any Galaxy fan that actually went? We have Shy in the chat, says flew out for the game, so painful to watch. Should have been more than 3 for them.
Oh,
absolutely,
man.
We definitely. Shy, I went on this whole tirade at the beginning of the show about how I feel really bad for any Galaxy fan that went out there, looked for flights, paid for flights, made the flight, paid for hotel. Man, I'm so sorry. We're back to our regularly scheduled Ananda comment. Sorry about that, Ananda.
I think I was talking about Schmetzer. I forgot the point that I was trying to make now.
Yeah. But, you were talking about how you saw the Schmetzer press conference. They didn't show Vanney.
Yeah, they didn't show Vanney. And honestly, man, Schmetzer, it's funny because he talked about like a little thing that they had in the locker room where he was noticing that all the players were talking amongst themselves, talking about what they have to do in the game, certain partnerships. So even the young guys, Rothrock and Reagan, were talking to each other. Jordan Morris was talking to, I think, one of his wingers. The center backs were talking. I mean, they were all talking to each other. And so Schmetzer was like, you know what? My guys are ready for this game. And I just told him, you know what you have to do? Good luck. And that's all he said. And it was, dude, Schmetzer's I need to listen to more of his press conferences because his press conferences are pretty entertaining, man.
Yeah. I took in his presser before the match, and we'll get to what he said in a moment. But he's very, very good.
And that's what it all came down to. I'm sure we'll talk about it in one of our talking points here in this next segment. But they were ready, and we were not. We were still sleeping in Seattle.
Definitely. Well, at the end of this tournament, the in 3 matches played in the Leagues Cup, the Galaxy ended up with a 1-1-1 record. Of course, they beat San Jose 2-1 in the first match. In the second match, they beat Chivas de Guadalajara 5-4. And now in 5 all-time Leagues Cup matches played, they hold a 1-3-1 record. 4 different Galaxy players scored in this tournament this year: Miguel Berry, Diego Fagundes, Joseph Pinto, and Gabriel Pecci. Pecci, in particular, recorded 3 goal contributions, 2 goals, and 1 assist. In 29 matches played across all competitions now, the Galaxy have a 15-6-8 record. In 16 road matches, they have a 6-5-5 record. And back on Gabriel Pecci, in 12 matches played across all competitions dating back to June 15th. He has 15 goal contributions, while the Prince who was promised, Ricky Pooch, has totaled 20 goal contributions, 8 goals and 12 assists in 25 appearances in 2024. But all that is great and all, but it's still an L. It's still a big L. So chat, I mean, go off. I mean, what was the main reason for the loss in Seattle? I mean, there was obviously the set piece issue. There was being down 3-0. There was not coming out well. I mean, guys, let us know what you thought was the main reason for the loss. I mean, first and foremost, Ananda, do you think Greg got the lineup wrong?
No, I think based off of I would have started Garces, but he was unavailable, right? So I think he went with the strongest lineup, the strongest available, and it's what's been getting us wins. And he got us the win against Chivas, again, without Garces. I know Cáceres was in there, but again, like that 3 center back partnership or rotation has been okay. It's served us pretty well. But I think there were a lot of other reasons, Rob, and I don't know if chat's picking up on any of them, but no, I don't think the lineup was the issue. Do you?
Last week we spoke about if McCarthy or Micovic was going to get the start before that news broke. And I said that I thought that John McCarthy would get the start, but honestly, I probably would have gone Micovic. He was your hot hand. He had 2 good performances, especially like a very, very big confidence boosting shootout performance. I would have gone with him. Back line was all right. I mean, if Garces had been available, I probably would have gone with him at one of the center backs. But it, like you said, this was the lineup that had been getting us wins. Perhaps the 3 in the back again could have been used, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I just see really just one. I mean, I would have started Micovic, but that's probably the only place where I think he went wrong. I think it was more an issue of mentality. You know, they weren't ready. Just like you said that Schmetz saw his players talking to each other and they looked ready. I mean, I would give money to find out what Greg saw before the match, because it probably wasn't that. These players looked not ready for this battle. I don't know if it was, the turf, or the fact that they were playing on a Thursday, which isn't usual for them. I don't know what it was, but you could see that they weren't ready for it by giving up 2 goals in 7 minutes. I mean, 2 goals in 7 minutes in a match is always horrendous, but when it's at the start of a match and you're already out of the match 7 minutes in.
Yeah. And chat's picking up on it too, man. I want to read some of these comments. So XPH says, seems every loss so far is always a slow start, lack of energy. Exactly. GCam says shock and awe tactic, and the defense was a little slow to get into the game. We were done after goal 2. We looked impotent. He also said we also need San Miguel very. And Tony Toscano says lineup was fine. Defensive strategies were exposed by Seattle's coaches prior to the game. Vanney and co failed to make the effort to respond appropriately. So this is all kind of going to a debate that I had in my head, Robert, which is, and I don't know how I feel about this, and I've been wrestling with it in my head. It's so with what XPH is saying, seems that every loss is a slow start, lack of energy. Who do we attribute that? Who do we attribute that to? Do we blame Vanney for that, or do we blame the players for not being ready? I'm trying to answer this question in my head, and I'm like, I feel like I'm going to cop out and probably say it's a shared responsibility, but I mean, at some point, like when that becomes a repeated pattern, like you kind of have to look at the coaching staff at some level too, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I would blame Vanney. I mean, we've spoken about this one before, and like, remember we said that somebody put it really succinctly, like the manager's job is to prepare the players to go out on game day and execute on game day. Like Vanney did his work already. He prepared them throughout the week. He put them in their lineup. He put them in their positions. He drilled them. He told them, this is the way Seattle's going to play. I guess maybe like the rest of the coaching staff, like that's, getting them, putting them through their paces in the warm-up. Who knows? But I don't really think it's Greg. I mean, again, he gets them ready, puts them in positions, then they got to execute, and they did not execute. You saw it. I mean, they lost just silly little battles all over the pitch, notwithstanding the two big ones very, very early. I mean, Jalen gets beat on the first goal. I mean, Jalen and Edwin get beat on the first goal, and then again for the second goal, just a couple moments later, Jordan Morris beats pretty much everybody around him. So, it's just what I'm talking about. That this mentality. You can't go out there in a knockout and a knockout tournament, which Greg has been drilling into them constantly. One mistake and you're out. One mistake and you're out. In this case, it was two mistakes and they were out. But then to compound it, just like you mentioned to me, they gave up a silly goal at the end of the first half. On this one, Mark doesn't get a good enough header on the clearance, and it falls to a Seattle player who then gets it to Alex Rodon, who unleashes a goal. Last one, it's done. It's 3-0 right before the half. Demoralizing. I mean, anytime you get a goal right before the half, it's bad. Again, you get the third goal right before the half, you're done. I mean, what do you have to play for at that point? But you know what? We were talking about this mentality, but I spoke about how I was in the Schmetz conference and Albert Rusnak was there, and I put out a tweet. As soon as I heard him say it, I was like, oh man, Galaxy fans are going to love this one.
And this was pre-match, right? Just to set the stage. This is pre-match.
Yeah, this is pre-match. So as soon as I heard him say it, I was like, oh, Galaxy fans are going to hate it. And so he said in the Sounders press conference pre-match, defending as the LA Galaxy's Achilles heel. And then when Albert Rusnak got on the mic, he just simply said they don't like to defend. He said they like, I mean, to expand on that one, he said they don't like to defend. They like to have the ball. And they don't like to not have the ball, so they weren't wrong. I mean, they weren't wrong. I mean, there was a lot of chatter about this, but as we see, Ananda said earlier, the stats don't lie, numbers don't lie. 13 goals allowed from set pieces, tied with Montreal for the most in MLS. Ananda, this is not a title winning team on this defense right here.
No, and I want to go back now to the earlier point. And so I would agree with you in that the mentality piece, that's, I feel like, I mean, it's imposed on Vanney. He can only do so much, but the players have to carry out the instructions, right? A good friend of ours always says that it's the players that cross the white lines, not the manager, right? So I agree with you to a certain point. But now going back to set pieces, this is for me, this is a coaching thing, Robert. And this is where I'm going to kind of parse it out and draw the line. I mean, this is a repeated pattern. 13 set piece goals allowed in MLS, right? We're tied for the most MLS goals conceded off of corner kicks. And here's the other thing too, man, is we're actually fourth in MLS in corner kicks conceded. So we're compounding that problem with conceding the most, one of the most in corner kicks as well. So I feel like it's one of these things, right? And it's like, we can give Greg credit for getting things right, but we also need to criticize. I mean, I think for me,
absolutely,
this is a repeated pattern that now needs addressing, whether it's extra video sessions, extra training, personnel, meaning like not only player personnel of who to mark, right? Clearly with, physical specimens like Nuhu and Yamar, I mean, you got to get a body on those guys, right? And maybe it's a personnel thing. I don't know. It's funny because Judge Sophie, I remember her asking, I think this might have been preseason or early in the season. She actually asked Greg, do you need a set piece coach, right? Obviously she's privy to that and she's sensitive to that because she covers Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. It's been publicized now that he got Man City set piece coach, etc. But I mean, we have to look at those things, Rob. Like set pieces in an MLS Cup competition, or in any cup competition, those are the fine margins. Those are the little margins that you need, that extra 10% to get you out of deadlocks, especially against top opposition, right? Against your LAFCs, etc. And you look at even on the offensive side too, Robert, we're bottom of the league with only 3 set piece goals scored. Maya Yoshida is a great set piece target. Like, why don't we take advantage of that? So now it's a very like minute thing that I'm going to call out, but I feel like we kind of have to look at the coaching staff on the set piece thing, because it's not a thing that's happened once or twice. 13 set piece goals. It's happened 13 times, right? It's one of the things we got to look at. And I don't want to go into an MLS Cup playoff game and have set pieces be our demise. And that's something that we know it's been our demise all season, right? That's like my worst enemy. And I don't want that sort of that alternate universe happening. So I think that's one thing that we kind of have to look at the coaching staff on, in my opinion, because it's been our Achilles heel, right, all season. And if all the fans know it, like we got to do something to address that issue.
Yeah, fans know it. Opposing teams know it. I mean, that's why Schmetz and Albert Rusnak called it out. And yeah, GCAM said on the day he was most definitely not wrong. But yeah, I think it's a day-to-day thing. Some days the defense goes out there for the Galaxy and they play locked down. Unfortunately, in a knockout competition, it wasn't the day to not show up, and they didn't show up. So they get knocked out of this tournament 3-1. I mean, really not much much else to say other than, they did get the really impressive win over Chivas in penalties, which, was a big occasion at the Digs, even though it was a quote unquote not a home game. So now that they're out, what do the Galaxy do for the next 2 weeks? Well, they asked Greg about that post-match. He kind of laughed and said, geez, Robert, we just got knocked out. I haven't really had a chance to think about it. And I let him know, well, Greg, I am thinking about it because it's 2+ weeks. So he basically just said that they're going to take the time to integrate and get healthy. I mean, there's obviously players, Dejan Jovic, Julian Alde, Emilio Garces now, who are on the sidelines. They need to get healthy. I mean, with Marco Reus coming in, they need to integrate him. At the time of this recording, there's 12 days until the Galaxy play Atlanta. So they have approximately 12 days to get Dejan Jovic fit and firing. Emilio Garces back to health. I believe last time we spoke to Julian, Greg, about Julian, he said that he might not be ready for the beginning of the season. Hopefully this week.
The beginning of the restart, you mean?
Yeah, the beginning of the restart. Hopefully this week, if we go out there for the Marco Reus presentation, we'll get to see some practice out as well, and we'll get to tell you, if Julian or Amito or Decky took place in training. But yeah, 2.5 weeks of no Galaxy soccer. Ananda, what are you going to fill your time with?
Well, Premier League starts up this week, man. There's a lot of European leagues starting up. So there you go. I'm going to be filling up with other soccer. But no, I'm looking forward to that Royce presentation. But biggest thing for this team, man, let's put this one behind us. The one thing that we have lauded the Galaxy on this season is their bounce back ability, their mentality, and with their ability to bounce back. I'm going to look for that in the game against Atlanta. That's got to be 3 points in the bag. And, we'll talk about that as we get closer with the preview and everything like that. But biggest thing is recover both, not only physically, but mentally, right? Get your mind in the right place. We've got a big stretch. And I mean, this is a big test now for this team. And I think the additions, like you said, Julian, Decky, Amito, those guys are going to help. We're going to have a nice, fully fit squad, I think. And that'll help us big time heading down the stretch.
Well, I mean, Amito is just a recent contributor, but you're getting 2 really big contributors back in Julian and Decky, and then you're getting Marco Reus. So it's like you're getting 3 huge signings as for the stretch run, because I mean, obviously you can't consider Decky and Julian new signings, but they've been out long enough where their impact has been felt, so they're going to feel like big additions coming back. Well, guys, we have about a week, we have about 12 days before the Galaxy are back at the digs. Heading into that match, after 26 matches played, the Galaxy are 14-7-5, 50 goals scored, 36 against. They are currently on 1 point less than Vanney's best point total. They're still first place in the Western Conference standings, and they sit atop the conference for the first time since the 2011 campaign at the All-Star break. They are currently 2 points ahead of LAFC, 5 points ahead of RSL, 2 points, 2 games in hand over our 2 games in hand LAFC has over the Galaxy, and RSL has 1 game in hand over the Galaxy. The Galaxy is second in the Supporter Shield standings currently, and they are 4 points behind leaders Inter Miami. Miami, of course, has 1 game in hand. The Galaxy are averaging 1.88 points per game. 4 games at home, 4 games away left in the Galaxy season. Of course, they end the season in Houston. Houston has not been kind on the last day of the season, so hopefully the Galaxy have taken care of their work before the last game of the season. Guys, coming up, the Galaxy is back at home, like we've told you, on August 24th against Atlanta United at 7:30. It is their first of their last 8 games. Couple of things. I mean, the 24th should be a party at the digs. It'll be Jalen Neal's 21st birthday. But as well, it should be Marco Reus's first match. Again, we don't know how much we'll be seeing him, but I would expect that one to be his first match, and it'll be a big affair for Galaxy fans. Of course, we'll bring you a preview pod on August 22nd at 9 p.m. in preparation for the Atlanta United match. And guys, on Thursday, we have our friend Phil, who works with Apple TV, and he's that guy that you see on the field interviewing these players directly after the matches. So he's gotten FaceTime with Ricky, he's gotten FaceTime with Maya. He's directly there in the thick of it, right as your LA Galaxy are taking care of business at home. So we'll have him on the pod on Thursday to give us his impressions on the season and what he's seen out of the Galaxy this year. Ananda, anything else to add before we get on out of here?
I'm just gonna leave it at this, and then also, Robert, while I'm looking, because there was one comment that I wanted to pull up before we left, just to end it on a good note. But Did you want to? I know we've got maybe some. I know you're the showrunner. We've been working on some guests. We've got Phil. His name is Philip Gothorn, guys. He's a sideline reporter for Apple TV. So that'll be on Thursday. Again, we have no game really to preview, so I think we're gonna keep it really high level and just talk to him and talk to him about what he's seeing on the sidelines from the LA Galaxy. I think it's going to be a really, really fun, interesting perspective. So go ahead. That'll be live. So go ahead and check us out at 9:05 p.m. per the usual on Thursday. But Rob, we've been working on some other stuff. Do you want to make a couple announcements on upcoming programming notes?
Yeah. So we have Phil on Thursday. Stick around for that one, guys. He's awesome. Again, he's right in the thick of it as the Galaxy are wrapping up games. And I mean, he's getting FaceTime with your favorite players. So he's going to be letting us know what he's seen. And then the following Monday, we have everyone's favorite lady, Judge Sophie Nicolas. We have her on Monday. That'll be a pre-recorded show, but we really think you guys will enjoy it. So we'll miss you, chat, but that'll be dropping on Monday, the 19th. So watch out for that one. So we have Phil live on Thursday at 9 p.m. And then we have Sophie on 19th. That one's pre-recorded. And of course, we've already teased and let you know that pretty soon we'll be bringing you our conversation with the Stash, Tommy Bogert, who's going to be letting us know everything that we need to know about Galaxylandia, anything that he's been seeing, anything that he's been, picking up on. Ananda has a big question for him, which is, what compelled him to pick the Galaxy out of all the pundits to pick the Galaxy to finish fourth. He was the only one who showed any faith in them. So, you got to show Tommy love for that one.
That'll be a good conversation. There's been a lot of movement as well. So, I mean, guys, if you think about sort of this stretch, right, that 3-horse race, us, RSL, and LAFC, we're all getting big signings in. RSL made a very surprising signing out or exit with trading
Gomez.
selling Andres Gomez. So that'll be interesting, but they got their new DP as well. So a lot of movement. It's going to be a good conversation, I think, with Tom Bogert, especially as the MLS transfer window shuts. So look out for that, guys. I know we've been working hard, so hope you guys stick with us, enjoy it. And Rob, you said last word. Found this one. This is from the top of the show, but you know what? I got to call it out because our boy GCam, he kind of sets the record straight in terms of how we all should be sort of taking this, right, as Galaxy fans. And he simply states, I think we as fans tend to overrate our team, and that's normal. But this was a splash of cold water. We have some serious weaknesses, and they were apparent AF in that game. But still way better than 2023. And I go back to what I said on the top of the show, Rob. So we've only done this group therapy 6 times a season, right? And that in and of itself should be lauded. That shouldn't be taken lightly. I think we are trending clearly in the right direction. Even though we have, other teams have games in hand on us, we still have that number 1 seed in the West. We have a lot to play for in these 8 games. I think, as I said, there's a cup competition that a lot of fans didn't care for anyways. Let's put this behind us. But we got to take these next 8 games seriously, and hopefully these players are going to be refreshed mentally and physically to hit that number 1 seed and go right after it, man. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking at that September 14th game at Dignity Health Sports Park against LAFC. Woo, Papa, that should be a big one. Hopefully we can plan something good for the folk on that one in terms of a big show, because that's a huge game, and I'm marking that one on my calendar for sure.
That'll be a big match. I let Papa Dios know that all I want for my birthday is the Galaxy to get 3 points that day. So, well, with that, I think that's it for us. Guys, if you're here, it's because you found us on youtube.com/@Lacuna Galaxiana, and we thank you so much for doing so. Like we say, put someone on, show some love, and let your folk know about this podcast. If they need an LA Galaxy podcast to check out, let them know about us, our humble little pod. And yeah, we're gonna miss you, and until we see you again on Thursday. Man, one thing left to say. Jesus. Cobi says bye.
You and I.
You.